Hello, you're live with BBC News. I'm Anna Foster here in Martyrs Square in the heart of Beirut. Just in the last hour here in Lebanon, Hezbollah has said that it will continue to fight against Israel, and it says that it will choose a successor to Hassan Nasrallah at the earliest opportunity. Now, this was after the leader of Hezbollah for more than 3 decades was killed in an Israeli airstrike in the southern suburbs here in Beirut on Friday evening. And in fact, the people that you can see behind me here in Martyrs Square are people who have been here on these streets ever since. These are people who left their homes in the southern suburbs of Beirut, and it's a scene like this along the Corniche, along the waterfront. There are lots and lots of people, not just here in Beirut, but in the Bekaa Valley as well, in the east and in the south of Lebanon, who've left their homes because of the ongoing violence. Lebanon's caretaker Prime Minister Najib Mikati has said that around 1 million people, which is a huge proportion, maybe a fifth of the population here in Lebanon, risk being displaced because of the ongoing violence. Hamas have also confirmed this morning that its leader here in Lebanon, Fatah Sharif Abu al-Amin, was killed in a separate strike in the south of the country. And Israel is again vowing to expand its military operations here after targeting dozens more Hezbollah targets, they say, overnight. The images you're looking at now show the aftermath of one of those attacks, which killed 3 Palestinian leaders. Now, rescue efforts have been going on in the Kola district in Beirut. We'll speak to our correspondent there, Nafisa Konavad, very soon. This strike that happened in Kola at about 1 o'clock this morning, notable because it was the first strike here in Beirut that didn't happen in the southern suburbs of the city. And you can see now these live pictures as well. You could actually hear the sirens, which are at a constant sound in Beirut at the moment as the injured are taken to hospital. And you can see in these live pictures as well just the smoke that is rising above the city. And again, that has been quite a constant feature since Friday, since we had that very significant airstrike that killed Hassan Nasrallah. But the strikes have continued over the last few days. Now, as I was telling you, we've had a statement here in Lebanon in the last hour or so from the most senior Hezbollah figure to actually speak since the killing of Hassan Nasrallah. This is Naim Qassem, who is the deputy of the organisation. Now, he has been reacting to the strikes in Lebanon. He has been reacting, of course, to the death of Hassan Nasrallah. Now, of course, Hezbollah is a proscribed terrorist organisation in the UK, in the US and in other parts of the world as well. I just want to bring you a small flavour of what he said in that address.
If Israel thinks that its open hand and its determination to commit atrocities and aggression, if it thinks these will achieve its goals, then it is delusional. Yes, there are pains and sacrifices, but we make our future victories. Some of us die, some of us are martyred, and the remaining ones continue on the path of victory, which is forthcoming soon. We've all made sacrifices, starting with the pagers and walkie-talkies, and then the martyrdom of our leader. These would have undermined major armies and organizations, but we continue with the help of God.
Well, that's what Naim Qassem has been saying in the last hour here in Lebanon. And on the other side of the border in Israel as well, Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has been meeting his troops on the northern border. I just want to tell you a couple of the things that he has been saying. The elimination, he says, of Hassan Nasrallah is a very important step, but not everything. This is a short video that's been released, and he's telling troops, we'll use all the abilities we have, and if someone on the other side did not understand what all the abilities mean, it is all the abilities. And you, he said to his troops, are part of this effort. We trust you to be able to accomplish anything. And Yoav Gallant goes on to say, everything that needs to be done will be done, and we will use all the forces from the air, sea and land. Now, I also want to play you a short clip from Nasser Kanani. Now, he is the foreign ministry spokesman in Iran. He's held a news conference again this morning condemning the killing of Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah. Mr. Kanani said that although Hassan Nasrallah was, in his words, martyred, his cause is still alive.
Our foreign minister has had a meeting and has talked on the phone with his Lebanese counterpart. They have been discussing issues and they've discussed what they should do both by Iran and by the Lebanese government at the same time so that we can follow up on our political and legal demands. Naturally, the Iranian side would not leave any of the actions by the Zionist regime unanswered. We would definitely respond to that, and the Zionist regime would have to pay for what they've done to the Iranian citizens, to the Palestinian people, swiftly. This would not go unpunished, and the Islamic Republic would do what it takes on its own side.
Well, let's go live now to our Middle East correspondent, Yolan Nell, who's in Jerusalem for us. What's the latest, Yolan, that the Israeli authorities are saying about their operations against Hezbollah?
Well, we've been hearing from them how they have really been hitting on multiple fronts inside Lebanon, targeting what they say are rockets and rocket launch sites, but also senior figures from Hezbollah as a group. And the assessment, as it's reported in the Israeli media, is that they really have destroyed much of Hezbollah's firepower with these very intense aerial campaign that has gone on for the past week. But still, what we're hearing, particularly from the mayors of those towns in the north of Israel that have been evacuated as a result of the cross-border missile fire that's gone on now for 11 months since the start of the war in Gaza. Those mayors want, for their citizens to be able to return real safety along the border. They say that comes only with a ground invasion, with dealing with the infrastructure that Hezbollah has set up just close to the border and even under the border since that devastating war between Israel and Hezbollah back in 2006. And they say people will not go back to their homes unless that is dealt with. So there is increasing speculation here about whether Israel will go for a ground invasion. Those comments, the latest ones by the Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, really hinting that things are moving in that direction, with him addressing ground troops close to the border and telling them, you're part of this effort, we trust you to be able to accomplish anything, and we will use all the capabilities that we have. So there have been some reports in the Wall Street Journal that actually elite Israeli military units have already carried out limited and focused raids across the border. That is not something that's confirmed at all on the Israeli side. But the question being asked is, if Israel was to go in to southern Lebanon as well, what would it do? Its aim would be to push Hezbollah away from the border, to make it keep to the UN Security Council resolution that ended the 2006 war. That means making sure that Hezbollah is to the north of the Litani River. So would Israel go and try to occupy that big area in the south of Lebanon up to the river, or would it go for a smaller scale operation closer to the border?
Okay, for the moment, Yolan, thank you very much indeed. We can just see there once again the live pictures from Beirut, a city that has seen so much devastation in the last few days and so many people displaced. And as we were hearing from Anna Foster, who's in Beirut, many people now on the streets, terrified that there'll be more attacks to come. Let's go to our BBC Persian Middle East correspondent who is in Beirut for us now, Nafise Konavad. Nafise, what is the mood amongst people there? They must be fearful that there will be further airstrikes.
Yes, Ben, and especially after last night's airstrikes on the building behind me, which is in a Sunni majority area in Beirut. It is part of Beirut, and it is not Hezbollah stronghold that this time was attacked. It seems that it was a targeted assassination because only one floor, it's a sixth floor of an 11-story building, was hit. Clearly the the target was in the 6th floor of this building, but around the building, I can see a lot of cars that are damaged, smashed, and windows shattered. And the sound, the blast sound, we could hear all over. We could hear it from across Beirut. My home was shaken, which wasn't very close, but not too far as well. But my home was shaken because the blast was so strong. And this is the first time after the war of 2006 between Hezbollah and Israel that a part outside Hezbollah stronghold is being hit by Israel. And now that I'm talking to you right now, we have Israeli drones over overhead flying so low we can hear it's buzzing. It was the same case yesterday. Is unusually in the past 2 days, these drones are flying so low, and it seems that that's part of the surveillance. So there are a big fear among people that soon enough we will have similar assassinations or similar attacks in other parts of Beirut that are considered relatively safe and out of the target for Israel.
Okay, Nafiseh, for the moment, thank you very much indeed. That's the latest there from Beirut. And I just want to tell you that on our BBC Live page, there's analysis from Paul Adams, who's been in northern Israel for quite a few days, and just talking about the build-up of Israeli tanks that have been massing close to the Lebanese border, reservists called up, and Israel's top general telling troops to prepare to operate inside Hezbollah strongholds. So that is the latest on a possible ground invasion, still very much up in the air.